Hi, I'm Chris Haigh and this is the Fiddle channel, and today we're going to play a Miles Davis tune called Freddie the Freeloader. This tune was a request for Anton. Now Anton had just gone to a jazz jam session, and he was presented with this tune by a motley set of musicians that he had to play along with, and it was kind of a blues but not kind of a blues, and he was very confused by it. And it's a very interesting tune that is a real cross between the jazz and the blues. Blues is of course an essential element of jazz, and this kind of takes the blues form but just bends it ever so slightly in terms of the chords, certainly. So I'm going to show you three things you can do in the head and some ideas about how to play a solo. So it's 12 bars long, and it's in the key of B flat. So the first 4 bars are 1, 2, 3, 4. And then take that up, and then down again, and then we've got to A flat, to A natural, to G, and then the surprise is this chord, which is a flat 7. This only happens on the melody, not on the solos, fortunately, because it is a bit confusing having that there. So we're playing, just going from the middle. And then on the repeats. And it finishes on the B flat 7, which is the chord you would expect it to end on. Now there's a harmony line which follows that exactly, but below it, and it goes. And again. So let's play along with the backing, and the first time I will play the top line, and the second time I'll play the bottom line. Okay, now you will have heard that the piano is playing a little kind of answering phrase, and that is also something that you could do. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So if both of those lines are taken, the first 2 lines, then you could also play this one. Let's just do that with the backing. so this tune, it appeared on the Miles Davis album Kind of Blue in 1959, and I believe this is the most popular, best-selling jazz album ever. It just happened to hit that spot at the right time, and it is of course a genius album. If you've not heard it, then you must hear it, and if all you've ever played is gypsy jazz on the fiddle, then you need to open your mind a little bit. Gypsy jazz, although wonderful as it is, and I do mostly play gypsy jazz, it is very much a ghetto within the jazz world. And when you come across other jazz musicians, horn players in particular, and pianists, they won't know anything about gypsy jazz, and they won't know any of those tunes that you think are the absolute standards. No one is going to know Jangology, no one is going to know Nuage or anything like that. So if you find yourself away from all those guitarists and find yourself sitting with normal jazz people, then they're going to want you to play some kind of mainstream things, and this is a good mainstream tune that everybody knows. I've given you 3 different things you can do on the melody, and probably not all 3 are going to be taken, so you've got the choice of all 3. And then when it comes to a solo, the soloing is pretty easy, and that's what I'm going to show you now. There are 2 possible scales that you can use here. They are the B-flat major blues scale and the B-flat minor blues scale. Both are appropriate to some extent. So B-flat major blues scale is the B-flat major pentatonic plus the flattened third. So the pentatonic would be, the blues scale would be, now let's just play through the chords, and I'll play just that over those chords and see what it sounds like. Here we go. So that doesn't sound bad. It sounds a lot better on the B flat chord than it does on the E flat chord, because there's the E flat 7 really wants a D flat note in there, which you don't find in the B flat major blues scale. Now let's try doing the same thing, but we'll use the B flat minor blues scale. See what that sounds like over those chords. Now I think you'll agree that that actually sounds better. It certainly is more comfortable over the E flat chord, and when you're playing over the B flat chord, it sounds slightly dirtier than it should be, but the dirty I think is good. It's better to be dirty rather than too clean in terms of blues. The alternative is to play the B flat major over the B flat chord and play the B flat minor over the E flat chord, and that's certainly an approach that some people take. I like actually to be able to play it without thinking very much about what I'm doing, but then that comes from years of experience. So I think it's good to try all 3 versions. Try it with just the major, try it with just the minor, and try it by swapping between the major and the minor as feels appropriate. Let me give you an example of a solo where I will mix and match between the scales. about the way I was playing, I was leaving quite a lot of space, particularly at the beginning of the solo, and it's such a great groove that if you play one note and then wait for 2 bars before you do anything else, it's going to sound good, and you are going to look confident if you do that. So long as your eyes are not whizzing around in panic. If you look confident about it, then it's going to sound really good to leave some space in this tune. In terms of vibrato, I think the less vibrato you use, the better in this kind of music. This is cool music. You don't want a wild, zany vibrato, and you don't want the grappelli vibrato. If you listen to Jean-Luc Ponty playing jazz, then that's the way that he would play. He plays like a sax player, almost without any vibrato at all. So that's something to consider. There were a few places where I did actually change chord rather than just changing the different kind of blues scale. So you can, if you want, go from to a so there I'm more distinctly following the chords, but I don't think you want to do too much of that. You don't want to make it sound obvious what you're doing, so if you can just kind of drift a little bit over the chords, in this case I think that's pretty effective. If you would like a copy of the dots for this, then do subscribe and send me an email and I'll send you a copy. If you join me on Patreon, I will be doing a video of call and response on this tune, where I will play 2 bars and then you hear and play straight back those 2 bars. This is a very good exercise, of which I've got lots on my Patreon, so do consider joining me there, and I'll play you out with another solo. Thank you for watching, I'll see you again soon.